welcome to the mixed council meeting.
Hi, Morty. Can a lowly first-year agent join this select group?
Well, you obviously qualify. You see that film crew over there? Hey, Christine, maybe they have a part for you.
No, thanks. My starving actress days are over. I now have a long-running role as a New York Life agent.
But your clients still expect your best performance, don't they?
You're so right. I've been nervous all day about this presentation that I have later on. I've been having trouble closing lately.
That'll happen when you leave your initial market. But don't worry. Think of me as your panel of experts.
A one-man panel.
And as chairman, I must ask, have you ever used a medical close?
Take 2 aspirin and call you in the morning.
Not bad, but no. Very simple. Starts right after you finish the presentation. So, you agree this would be a good plan for you?
Yes, I think it would be good.
Now, to see if you can qualify, I'll need to get a little medical information. Christine, in the past 2 years, have you been disabled and unable to work?
No.
Good. Have you been in the hospital 5 days or more during that time?
No.
Fine. Now, I'll just need you to sign this. You see? After you get them participating and answering those questions, it seems natural just to hand over the pen and ask for a signature.
You make this seem so easy.
Well, it depends on your prospect. Some people are touchy on medical questions, so in that case, you might be better off going with the minor choice clause.
Minor choice?
Right. Starts right after the presentation, too. Something like, all right, Miss Morgan, would you rather make payments monthly or just once a year? I can set it up for your convenience.
I think monthly would be better.
Fine. And you'd want any mailings or statements sent to your home address rather than here at the business?
Yes, I think that would be better.
See? You're getting them to make minor but positive decisions. It breaks the ice, and you can just keep going right into the act.
I see. So what is your favorite?
Well, these two are fast because you can skip some closing steps. But I prefer the Ben Franklin close.
Ben Franklin? You mean the old guy from Philadelphia?
That's the one. It's a terrific close because they convinced themselves. I closed a guy a couple of weeks ago right in his health club sauna.
How does it work?
Miss Morgan, I realize it's tough to make a decision on something as important as this. But may I suggest you do it the way old Ben Franklin did?
Okay.
Now, what Ben used to do was he'd make a list of benefits versus any negatives and compare them.
Okay.
Now, let's see what you have on the plus side. Coverage for your whole family, right? Your cash value is building up, tax deferred.
Peace of mind.
That's a good one. Anything else that you can think of? Now, let's see what you have on the minus side.
Well, it'll cost me money.
Yeah, but look at what you're getting. Can you think of anything else? Well, Christine, it looks to me like you made your decision. Now, in order to get this activated, we'll need to complete an application.
That is good.
You'll notice I didn't help you find any negatives.
So that's how you do it. But do you always take a pen and application into the sauna with you?
No, not always. But that's not the point.
What do you do if neither one of these work?
Try another one. There's many closes that you should know about. Like the doorknob close.
Oh, is that what they call the Columbo close?
Well, some people do. Now, you only use this when you can't close and you're leaving. I understand, Miss Morgan. But before I leave, I wonder if you wouldn't mind helping me with my presentation. What was the problem for you? Was there something I didn't make clear?
Not really. To be honest with you, it's just too expensive.
Miss Morgan, I'm glad you told me that. In a way, it's my fault because I didn't make it clear how the premium can be adjusted to meet your budget.
Does that really work?
I'll show you the commission check. Listen, everything here I'm telling you works. It's just a question of matching the clothes to the client.
Wow. You've given me a lot to think about. I don't know whether to stick to my basic clothes or if I should try one of these new ones.
Hey, here comes our trusty AGM. Gee, Steve, can we have a little time to ourselves?
Just as I thought, wasting your time eating when you should be back there selling.
Believe it or not, we were talking about selling.
Oh, sure. That's what they tell all the AGMs. Goodbye. See you back at the office.
Hey, Christine, did you talk to Steve about your clothes tonight? He's very good about that.
I know. I usually do, but I figured I could handle it on my own.
Sure. You'll be fine. Just remember what I told you. The medical clothes is the easiest way to go. Very simple, and you can skip some closing steps.
But some people get touchy on those questions.
And use the minor choice. They won't even realize they're being closed.
Maybe, but I don't want to seem tricky.
Look, you can't go wrong with the Ben Franklin. They'll convince themselves right there in black and white.
Look, will you just go away? You've got me totally confused. This plan has a number of benefits, combined to give you both good coverage and a savings feature. Do you see how that meets the needs that you discussed?
Yes, it does, but I keep thinking how much cheaper it would be just to renew my term insurance. I mean, we could save the difference and have a nice pile in a few years.
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it? But it's not quite that simple. It's like the difference between renting a house and buying a house. Now, you bought this home because paying rent wasn't buying you anything permanent. Yes, we wanted something of our own and something that would build up value. Of course, that's why I'm saying continuing term is much the same as renewing a lease. It's costing you more each time, and it's not giving you any equity. Whereas with the whole life policy that I'm suggesting, it's much like buying the house. It builds your assets for the future. Do you see how this would work to your advantage?
Yeah, I've never thought about it that way before.
This breakdown shows you how your equity in a whole life plan builds up. And you'll notice that the cost of term increases dramatically over the years, much like rent. Whereas the whole life plan has fixed payments, which actually get cheaper in terms of inflation.
Yeah, I see. Do you see that, Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
Would I have to take a physical for this?
And who would pay for that? Oh, I don't think that would be a problem, but let me finish explaining to you your question about savings, Mr. Bronson, because it is a benefit that this plan has to offer. You see, your equity builds much more rapidly than if you save the money yourself, because the dividends are tax-deferred. Uncle Sam doesn't come in every year and take 30+% like he would on other CDs or savings. Can you see now why people choose whole life over term?
It sounds good. I never realized the tax angle before.
Would there still be one beneficiary? I mean, what if something happened to me first? I can explain that, but first, let me show you the tremendous difference that tax-deferred growth can make compared with buying term and investing the difference. So you see, it's whole life is the real bargain, because you get both continuous coverage and tax-deferred savings, which will build equity for your family in years to come. Oh, and there's another benefit, which I didn't mention. That's how you can get at your equity if you need to.
Oh, well, that sounds interesting.
Well, one way is just to surrender the policy, and New York Life will pay the accrued balance directly to you.
Oh, so the equity is like under glass. We can't use it unless we give up the coverage.
Not necessarily. You can do a partial withdrawal, or you can borrow against the policy at favorable interest rates that the company has to offer.
You mean pay for the privilege of borrowing our own money?
Well, tax-wise, it's the best way. I mean, your equity is earning more dividends than you'd probably be paying in interest. You see that?
Well, maybe.
All right. Let's get this plan underway. You should fill out an application form, and I'll need an initial check from you to bind the coverage while the company is processing the paperwork.
Well, to me, this plan seems a little bit complicated. I mean, the more you talk about equity compounding and tax exemptions...
Tax deferrals.
Yes. Well, makes me believe that we should think about this just a little bit more. Maybe talk to our tax man before we decide. I mean, just term insurance seems so simple.
I can appreciate that, Mrs. Bronson. I'm not trying to rush you into anything. I mean, I know this is an important decision. I mean, this plan does a lot more for you than term. But those tax aspects shouldn't concern you. I mean, they're automatically working to your advantage as soon as we set the plan in motion. It's not something that you have to keep track of or figure out. It just went downhill from there. I tried to close again, but no way. Finally, I just gave up. It was going so well at first. I don't know what happened. I didn't even get a chance to try the George Washington close.
Ben Franklin.
Right, sorry.
Here's that movie crew again.
After my performance last night, it's not surprising that I didn't make it as an actress.
Oh, come on, Christine. Can't win them all. Have you talked to Steve about it yet?
Yes, we're having a post-mortem after lunch. That'll be fun.
That reminds me. I'm expecting an important call in a few minutes.
Well, go ahead. I'm going to sit down for a while and drown my sorrow.
Okay. But remember, the show must go on.
So what's the shot here? We picked them up at the table again. Same position as yesterday? Right. But this is the reverse. Then I want to dolly around slowly and come in on her face. The cable coming in.
You want to play the 37A?
No. I covered that in 37. This will be 38, the master shot.
Steve?
Christine, where have you been? We've been setting up for your scene. Come on. We have got to go over your lines. Is that monitor up? Yeah, we have the feed. Great. Ask Mark to play back the last tape. What script were you using yesterday? You missed all the cues.
I know. I should have used the Ben Franklin close.
No. It wasn't the clothes you used. The way you were going, nothing would have worked. Look.
Do you see how this would meet the needs that we discussed?
Yes, it does. I just keep thinking how much cheaper it would be.
Steve, how is this possible? There was nobody else there.
Okay, right there. Let's see that again.
It's much like buying the house. It builds your assets for the future.
You were doing fine. That idea about buying a house was terrific. And you asked a good checking question right here.
Do you see how this would work to your advantage?
Yeah, I've never thought about it that way before. That was a good buying sign.
This breakdown shows you how your equity in a whole life plan builds up.
Notice how they're leaning forward. See it? You had them set up for the close, Christine.
I knew all my lines.
Well, that was the problem. You knew them so well, you weren't listening or reacting to their lines. Watch. Yeah, I see. You see that, Lisa? That's another good buying sign. Would I have to take a physical for this?
And who would pay for that?
That shouldn't be a problem.
There. He asked you an outright buying question. That was the cue to begin your closing line.
Oh, I don't think that would be a problem, but let me finish explaining to you your question about savings, Mr. Bronson, because it is a benefit.
You
that
missed
this
the
plan
cue
has
to
to
start closing. And now see how they're leaning back, almost disappointed?
Than if you save the money yourself. So I didn't need to say all that.
Those people were already sold. But you were following that script in your head so hard that you left them out of the picture. Now, here they gave you one more chance to start closing.
Would there still be one beneficiary? I mean, what if something happened to me first?
I can explain that, but first, let me show you the tremendous difference that tax-deferred growth can make compared with buying term. I see. This is an embarrassing performance.
Asking about the beneficiary is a classic buying question. When you hear that, go right to the close.
I was just so focused on making my point.
Yeah, what really finished you was right here, introducing that new benefit in your summary speech.
Oh, and there's another benefit, which I didn't mention. That's how you can get at your equity if you need to.
Oh, well, that sounds interesting.
I thought that would clinch it for me.
I know, but it's always risky to introduce a new benefit during the close.
You mean pay for the privilege of borrowing our own money?
Well, so if I hadn't followed my script so rigidly, if I had reacted to the cues and signals that they were giving me, this would have a happy ending?
Sure. Didn't you know that the key to a great performance is in the reaction?
Well, that's the last time I'm going to upstage my prospects and let that happen.
Are you sure? Can I count on that?
Sure, I'm sure. I just wish I could try it again.
Okay, Phil, we're ready for a take. Come on. Sitting here. Good. Here. Relax, relax. Pete, how we doing?
Good. We've got a hot spot in that reflector.
Better. Don't worry. Just remember your cues.
Bobby, give me the dolly track here and 2 more reflectors.
Stand by quietly.
Camera ready.
Okay, stand by. Lisa? Jeff? You right here?
Hello, Christine.
Hi. Now, Christine, this is the closing scene. It's the culmination of all the closing moves you made since you got the names of these prospects. I want your performance to reflect how hard you've worked to reach this moment. How applying client-centered behavior and initiative, all the success factors, have positioned you to achieve your goal.
Where should I pick it up?
Well, start from the renting line, but remember, take all your cues from their reactions.
What about us?
Oh, you guys were just fine. Just let it flow naturally. Okay? Ready to go? Roll camera.
38 takes 2.
Mark. And action.
It's like the difference between renting a house and buying a house. Now, you bought this home because paying rent wasn't buying you anything permanent.
Well, yes. We wanted something of our own and something that would increase in value.
Of course, that's why I say continuing your term is much like renewing a lease. It's costing you more each time, but it's not giving you any equity. Whereas the whole life plan is like buying a house. It's building your assets for the future. You see the advantage?
Yeah, I never thought of it that way before.
Okay, he's interested. Now show them the chart.
This breakdown shows you how your equity in the whole life plan builds up. You'll notice that the cost of term increases dramatically over time, much like rent, whereas your whole life payments are fixed and actually get cheaper when you consider inflation.
Yeah, I see. You see that, Lisa?
Yeah.
Would I have to take a physical for this?
And who would pay for it?
There's your buying question.
Well, that would depend upon your medical history. Why don't we go over that now and see if we can't get you qualified? Jeff, in the past 2 years, have you been disabled or unable to work?
Very nice. Keep it going.
No.
Good. In the same period, have you been in the hospital for 5 days or longer?
No.
Well, that's it on the medical questions. I don't think you'll need an exam. But why don't we go ahead and finish this application? I'll need your date of birth.
6/16/58.
Would you prefer the quarterly or monthly payment plan?
I think quarterly, don't you, Jeff?
Okay. Now to get this plan underway, I'll just need you to sign the application. And I'll need an initial check from you just to bind the application while the company's processing the form.
We have to pay for it now? Before anything's definite?
It's customary. You'll be covered immediately, and while the company is processing your application, you still have the option to change your mind and get a full refund. It's really to your advantage. You can make that out to New York Life. And the amount is right there.
Good. Keep rolling.
Well, congratulations. You've made a wise decision. I really think this is a great plan for you.
And cut! Oh, terrific. That's the one we'll go with. Very nice, Christine. Beautiful. I knew you could handle it.
It was so much easier this way.
And you guys were terrific. Very real. Perfect. And that ad-lib objection at the end, Lisa? Very nice.
Thanks.
Would you need close-ups on us?
No, you're all done. And thanks a lot.
So you'll call us when the policy comes through?
Oh, yes, certainly. Steve, I don't understand. This isn't real.
Did you get a signed app and a check when you saw them yesterday?
No, but that's...
These look real to me. Jeff, no problem in depositing this check today, is there? Shouldn't be. Then I'd say you just closed the sale. That's a wrap. We go to the office next.